Hello, hello, hello. We are live. All right. Hello, everyone. I've got some tea. It's a mix of raspberry leaf, clove, and nettle. It's really good. And I'm playing some singing bowls because, who doesn't love some singing bowls? I hope to soon be able to hold these lives with the singing bowls. Hello, Pulsars. Good to see you. That's nice. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. So I'm going to be honest with you. Hi, Sheila. It's good to see you. Okay, guys. So for those of you who are here, I'm just going to get going. So I'm actually going to do a separate video on this, but the Pleiadians have been sort of pretty strongly sending me information about some powerful shifts that are going to be unfolding. Energy shifts and also events. We're in April, but June, July, August. Okay, June, there's going to be a sort of kind of this energy, and these events are really going to start taking shape in June. So, and July and August, everything's sort of going to become more and more magnified. I don't know what it is exactly. And this is information that they've been sending to me for weeks now, but I've been sort of holding back, and there's not holding back, but in a way just figuring out, hi, Tina, like what's going on? What is it? And asking more questions. So big changes coming forth, and gotta be prepared for it. Hi, Ralph, good to see you. So we gotta be ready. Some stuff is coming. I don't know if you guys are feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it to the point where I'm figuring out where I'm gonna be between, June to August. Right now I'm about to get on the road, and I'm about to travel a little bit and then kind of figure out where I'm gonna land in June. So this is gonna be really interesting, whatever events will be unfolding. Well, that said, I'm going to get into it, start channeling and see what they have to say, what they want to say. And then from there, answer any questions and that you guys might have. All right. So Sheila says, yes, I've been feeling differently and feeling energy swarming around me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's all part of it. I definitely have been feeling that as well. And we're seeing it manifest in the world around. We have a question. We will get to that question during the channeling. Awesome. Yeah, the energy's been really, really interesting. We're really feeling it because what's interesting about the age that we're in, the age of Aquarius, and where we are energetically and geographically, being in the United States, especially for a lot of the people who are in the United States, we're going to feel the biggest shifts happening. Now, there's shifts happening everywhere, but we're going to sort of feel and experience the shifts that are going to have the most impact in the world around us. And this is not because of some kind of political thing at all. It's just energetically where we are and energetically what this place has sort of been in the books. It's been predicted. The United States is just one of those places that is going to experience this shift that's going on. I know a lot of you guys are feeling it. We're seeing it manifested in the world around us. And yeah, I'm excited to go into it now. All right. Okay. So I'm feeling a lot of weird feelings that I've never had, body heating, dizziness. Absolutely, yes. There's a lot of people that are feeling this is a real energy shift that is happening. And that's why also you're seeing a lot this weird chaos that we're seeing on the news now, or a lot of people are acting this out because a lot of people aren't prepared for it. So they're just mostly in reactive state. And so it's really, really, it's going to be a ride. I mean, it's already been a ride. It's already been a ride. All right, guys, I'm going to go into it. Humans, it is with great delight that we come amongst you to bring forth more than just words, to bring forth a vibration, an awareness of a vibration, which every single one of you has and loves to experience. The vibration that we are speaking about is one of acceptance. It is one of openness. It is one of simply being in your physical reality with an awareness of the non-physical aspect of you. And why this matters is because while you're sort of doing your thing in your physical reality, the greatest part of you is unfolding in the multiple layers of the non-physical experience that is unfolding simultaneously as your physical experience. Now, from our perspective, we are wanting to share with you so much. And all of what we want to share with you is not simply just information, but it is this vibration which carries with it all the information that would be necessary and important for your evolution, for your experiencing of your own expansion. Now, we've had this conversation with Charlie many times, and we've spoken to her about this shift, this powerful shift. She's heard our conversations from a very long time ago as you perceive time. And she's often referred back to these conversations wanting more information, wanting more clarity. And what we are speaking about is the very same energetic shifts that you are experiencing right now, that you are experiencing as manifestations. Because before there is a manifestation, there is a setting forth, all right? There's a setting forth of vibration. And the way in which humans set forth a vibration is through a desire that is born from a place of wanting something that is not already there. All right. So many humans over a very, very long time have set forth certain desires. All right. They've set forth desires for a shift, an expansion, a sense of freedom, a sense of well-being. And everything that you are experiencing now manifesting, whether you judge it as good or bad, is a setting forth of this desire for more well-being. Now, sometimes something unfolds, an event that ignites within each human a greater desire. And in the months that have passed already, so many humans have already experienced this shift, and they've set forth these powerful desires. And what's happening now is that so much of this energy has been accumulating, and the human sort of mind heart energy that accumulates is in a constant dance and is in a constant sort of play with the energies of the universe, with the energies of the cosmos, with the energies of planet Earth, with the energies of the creatures and the animals around, with the energies of the plants, with the energies of the multitude of beings of non-human nature. So you see, there are so many components, there are so many moving pieces that are constantly playing and participating in this ongoing unfolding of experience. And all humans are able to perceive but a small sort of aspect of this dance. And so when we come forth and connect with you, when we come forth and we play with you, when we share with you vibration and information, what we are bringing forth is an awareness of everything that is unfolding. And what we want to make you aware of is how you can be not just simply participating, but sort of be ahead of it. So the other day, Charlie was taking a walk, as she always does, by this park by where she's staying. And she noticed that every time that she's crossing the sidewalk, there is a signal that comes on that lets her know, all right, you as a pedestrian, you can go ahead. Now, she can often sense when it is her time to go. She doesn't need this signal to let her know. And as we were speaking with her about this, being ready for what's to come, we sort of use the same example for her. Many humans will wait for the signal from the light to come on to tell them, okay, it is your time to go. But not every being sort of awaits for this signal. Some beings sort of understand that it is my time to walk. It is my time to cross the path. And so what we want to make you aware of is that now is your time. All right. And it is your time to become ready, because there will be energetic paths that will open up. Now, those who are able and ready will be able to cross the path. All right. They'll be able to cross and sort of come to the other side of the road. Not all humans will be able to cross the path and come to the other side of the road, because not all humans are sort of tuning themselves up to this awareness. All right, the awareness of everything that's unfolding on the multiple layers of reality. So when we come forth and bring this information to you, it is to make you aware that there's so much that has already been set forth. And everything that is setting forth will manifest in a series of events. And these events will simply not be just physical events. They are first and foremost energetic events. And during these energetic events is when certain portals open. And those who are ready and willing and aware are able to cross forth. Now, what is this crossing forth? This crossing forth is an expansion of consciousness, is an expansion of your experience, is an expansion of your understanding of experience. And as this consciousness expands, as this experience expands, you are able to all of a sudden notice that all that you are wanting and all that you have been sort of desiring and putting forth begins to manifest. Now, this manifestation is not just simply in the physical things that you are wanting and in the physical relationships that you are wanting to bring forth. It is very much a manifestation of a greater part of you, all right? Because oftentimes, what humans do not realize is that as they set forth desires, as they are willing and open to expanding their consciousness and their awareness and their understanding, they begin to shift and transform. Who they are begins to shift and transform, because everything that you are wanting to manifest, first and foremost, you are the point that is sort of manifesting from, meaning when you begin to shift, so does what you manifest. Sometimes humans, they'll begin to sort of simply become focused on the thing that they want to manifest without realizing that the thing that they are wanting to manifest will manifest when they are changed, when they are truly shifted, when they are truly transformed. All right. And that's when the greatest sort of enjoyment of anything that you are wanting to manifest comes forth. So, this is what we want to clarify for you, is that you do not need to wait for an outside signal to tell you when it is your time to make that shift, to take that next step. Even if you might not know exactly how this physical step will sort of manifest itself, what it will look like for you, but simply knowing that it is your time, it is what is important for you to know, all right? Because so many humans, they'll say, I'm looking for a sign, I'm looking for the burning bush. And what we say is that the signs sometimes, they are not burning bushes, they are very subtle. They are not just the seas parting, they are very subtle. It is those subtle synchronicities that you begin to tap into that let you know, aha, I know this is my signal. I know this is my signal to take the next step forward. All right. Because we've spoken to you many times about how energy is speeding up. And it is always speeding up, and it will continue to speed up faster and faster and faster and faster. Which is why you are seeing so many physical shifts, and they are happening very quickly at places and locations around the earth that weren't necessarily as active energetically as they have been until now. And they'll continue to move on. In the year 2025, you will experience a lot more of these physical shifts. But right now, you're sort of receiving confirmations from the universe, letting you know that it is happening, that these unfoldments are on the way. And we want you to be ahead of it and to be ready, because when that moment comes, the sort of layers of reality, the parallel dimensions, when the portals open, they open all at once. And these events, they are not very common, you see, but it is the collectiveness of the desire of wanting this expansion that is bringing this forth. And when you're sort of there and you're saying, I'm ready, when you sense and you receive those subtle synchronicities, you know that it is your time to cross. All right. So this is what we wanted to share with you. And there is so much more that we want to share with you. And what we want to sort of open you up to is simply an awareness that your existence is much greater than you believe it to be. All right. Because so many of you think, all right, I've got my place where I live and my family and my friends and a job that I do. And oftentimes this can seem like all that there is to your existence, but there is so much more to your physical existence. When you begin to tap into it, ooh, you begin to feel that energy flow through you and allowing you to experience so much more well-being. All right. Very good. Now we will begin by answering some of your questions. All right. All right. Someone is asking, could you explain how to keep vibrations high while raising teenagers who challenge many things, but very hard during this time as we are in the minority in our mindset? All right. Very good. So there's a few parts to this questions. One of them has to do with being in an environment where you are allowing all who are part of this environment to be who they are. All right. And this can be very difficult when human minds come together because opinions can be very strong, and every human mind has its opinions. And it is important to realize that in if we want to share an experience with others, we sort of must accept where they are. All right. We just shared with you about acceptance. And oftentimes acceptance comes with accepting where you are. And then it comes with accepting where others are. And this can be very, very difficult when you are in an environment where you are wanting those close to you to see things as you see them, all right? Because you say, I'm seeing some truth and I want to share with you. And they say, I'm seeing my own truth and I want nothing to do with your truth, all right? So, first things is you must, whoever and wherever you are, understand that you've got your perception of reality, and you cannot impose this perception of reality onto someone else. Now, oftentimes parents are sort of used to doing this, all right? They are used to sort of teaching their children how to be and to train them how to be as they are, all right? Even though you might want to say to your child, I don't want you to be as I am, I want you to be your own person. Children, they're sort of always learning, not by words, but by an example of life lived, all right? And so the only way that you can sort of influence anyone is by being so certain and clear about who you are and where you are, that you do not need to sort of impose on others anything that you are wanting to impose on them, all right? And this can be very, very difficult because you want others to see things as you see them, all right? See, when we come forth to bring forth messages to you, we always say, try it on for yourself. You do not have to believe anything that we say. And if you try it on and you like it and you say, all right, this is working out for me, very good. All right. You do not have to give us any credit for it. So it is in the same way when you are in a household with other beings that you want to sort of shift their mindset, is make your mindset so clear and so clear and so sort of radiant in that clarity, all right? We always speak with you about how you are beings of light, and your perception sort of can muck up that light. And so the clearer that your perception becomes, the more radiant you become as a being. And the more radiant that you become as a being, the more others want to know what you are doing, what you are thinking, and how what you are thinking is working out for you, all right? So that's the place we want you to be, at this place of simple clarity, all right? That you are accepting where you are and you are embracing where you are, and you do not need others to think about you, all right? To think about how you want them to think. We understand this can be very difficult for a human mind, but it is the most fun that you will have, because in your own clarity, you'll sort of enjoy watching how others kind of sort of stumble in their own seeking of clarity. And if at some point you are feeling that you are wanting to extend out a hand and say, you know what, I've got the answers and I want you to have them. And if they say, no, thank you very much, I want to figure out the answers for themselves, and you could say, very good. Let's see how that works out for you. All right. Very good. Someone is asking, all right, I had an experience where I could see energy flow around me in a counterclockwise motion, and I felt and saw my body glitching it about, wipe me out, was overwhelming. Is this the shift? All right, very good. So oftentimes when you are opening yourself up to experiencing energy and not just sort of this three-dimensional reality, you will allow yourself to plug into different vortexes, all right, energy vortexes. So depending where you are in your what you are thinking and where you are in what you are feeling, you will sort of stumble into these energy vortexes, and they will kind of have their fun with you, all right? So when you are experiencing any kind of energy shift, you sort of want to embrace it where you are and kind of ask yourself, well, how did it feel? Was there a sense of freedom? Was there a sense of relief? Was there a sense of letting go? Oftentimes, when you are experiencing a shift, it is very much about allowing yourself to let go from some form of control that you've sort of been hanging on to a release of this control. And that is why so many times when humans are experiencing a shift, they will experience it energetically, and they'll experience a sort of loss of control in their own physical body, all right? And oftentimes when humans are wanting to experience a shift and they sort of don't know how to go about it, they'll want to, oftentimes what we notice with humans, to embrace sort of plant medicine or different things that allow them to let go of the ego or mind control that they have so much. But you do not need these things to experience these shifts. As you are allowing yourself to experience more and more well-being, as you're allowing yourself to take the time to breathe, take the time to plug into your higher being that is unfolding simultaneously in the non-physical parallel dimensions, you'll begin to experience a lot of these physical shifts. Charlie began to experience herself in the last few weeks as she was allowing herself to sort of relax more and more, and to allowing more of this energy to come forth, that this physical body of hers was not quite in the same way as she had experienced it before. But instead of fear and instead of feeling this wanting to take back control, she felt a sense of surrender, and she thought, aha, this feels good. Because I don't know exactly what is happening, but I understand that what is happening is not just happening at a mind level, it is happening at a much deeper level, all right? So whenever you are going through these things, allow yourself to sort of register for you what it feels like, all right? And what state you are in as you are experiencing these shifts. And the more that you are in a state of well-being, the more that you are in a state of acceptance, the more that you are in a place of hope instead of in a place of rage and anger, the more that these shifts will begin to make changes within your physical body, within your energetic body, all right, the invisible body. All right, very good. It feels like I've gone backwards in the last year. People where I live are of a different mindset. I feel very unattached to 3D, but remain for my children and wife. How can I balance this? All right. Well, first of all, we do not want you to balance this. What do we mean by this? So many humans, they are sort of begin to detach from the mindset of 3D, and they sort of feel like they have to have their feet dipped in 3D so they can feel a sense of normalness, because for them normalness is who they were, all right? And see, this can be a big hang up for so many humans, because as they are beginning to shift, they are sort of wanting to hang on to certain aspects of their life, because they think, well, if I let go of that, then who am I? All right, because of so much of who they defined as who they were is attached to this. So what we want to say to you is that it is okay to begin to let go. All right. Now, this again can be difficult for some humans, because they say, well, if I let go of that, and if I let go of that, and if I let go of that, then who am I? And we say that's the best place to be, because that's the place to be to discover who you truly are. And you discover who you truly are, you begin to realize that who you truly are is so much more expansive than who you've always been. And this can be a huge shocker for so many humans, all right? It can be such a huge shock that they say, I sort of need to kind of dip my feet back into 3D to get a sense of normalcy. And we say, do not go back there. Be where you are. All right. There's no need to go back. Begin to shift forward. Begin to shift ahead. And that's all right. And the components that will be necessary for your existence as it is evolving will be there. And the ones that will not be necessary will sort of begin to fall away. All right. And that's all right. We understand that there is a wanting to hang on. There's a wanting to sort of stay into what you have always been, or sort of maintain a certain small parts of it just so you can feel normal. But there's no reward for you in feeling normal. All right. There's no reward. There's no vibrational reward for you wanting to hang on to something that's you've already done, that you've already been. All right. So begin to embrace more and more where this new place is leading you. All right. Because as you begin to embrace it more and more, you'll begin to uncover certain things that you never knew were there. All right. So move ahead. There's no need to balance it. Begin to sort of what you want to find balance is not in the 3D world. What you want to find balance now is in all these new aspects of you emerging. All right. And as these new aspects of you begin to emerge, sort of immerse yourself in there. Begin to see what's in there for you, all right? And that's where you will find this balance that you are seeking. You will not find this balance in the 3D world, in the 3D matrix, and what has always been. And those beings in your world that truly see the fullness of you, that truly have a love for you that is unconditional, they will say, you know what? I like this new you and I'm for it. And the ones that sort of are still attaching conditions to their connection with you will say, I don't know about that because I liked you as you used to be. I'm not okay with your evolution, all right? So begin to embrace this new place. Dive deeper and deeper into it. Begin to discover this new part of you emerging, all right? And we understand it can feel very wobbly because you see, as you are embracing an existence that is leading you to a 5D existence, you will feel very wobbly because those feet that kept you grounded in an old reality will sort of dissipate and a brand new pair of feet will begin to sort of emerge. You'll begin to feel more grounded in a brand new reality, all right? And it will not be a grounding that is attaching you to pain or suffering. It will be a grounding that is attaching you to the tree of life, all right? That is beginning to connect you to your cosmic being. And this being is very much greater than what you've always known. All right. And so plug into that being, begin to expand that part of you more instead of wanting to appease any aspects of the reality that has been. All right. Very good. All right. Is there going to be a significant separation from those compatible with 5D and those who are not? In other words, will it be noticeable significantly? Yes, very much so. And there are many humans that are beginning to experience this already. All right. And this will sort of, now the humans that are deep into the 3D world, they will sort of notice a shift, but it will not be visible as those that are shifting into a higher dimension. Those who are shifting into a higher dimension will shift into a parallel reality. And what's going to happen is that as they are shifting into this parallel reality, they will cross paths less and less and less with beings in 3D. And when they do cross these paths, they will begin to experience this sort of noticeable difference in their interactions. And some of you are already experiencing this, where parts of wherever you are living look very different to you. Things that you have tasted before taste very different to you. Conversations that you used to have before are very different for you. They make you feel very, very different. And humans that you used to interact with before Now you see them very, very differently. It is not necessarily seeing something as significantly better or worse. It will simply, as the space opens up, because see, as you are shifting vibrations, as you are sort of launching into a higher dimension of existence, you begin to expand. All right, that is the difference between someone who's sort of squished energetically and sort of trapped into a 3D reality versus someone who is expanding not just simply their their physical and their energetic consciousness, but physically they are shifting their energy body. And so you have this new space within you. And what this space is filled with is a greater understanding. And so what we're beginning to notice is that this shift is already unfolding, and it is already, for so many humans, they're already beginning to experience it physically. All right. Some humans are beginning to experience it physically in their bodies. So many humans are beginning to experience it differently in their physical environment, in their households. All right. And so many humans are beginning to experience it within their minds. Now, this is a very interesting conversation that we were having with Charlie the other day, because she was saying, there is a sort of epidemic of this mental health. So, what can we do about it? How can we extend forth this sort of expansion that is already unfolding on planet Earth to all these other humans? And what we are saying is that all those humans that are experiencing this shift in their mind is because what they're experiencing is an invitation to shift from a 3D reality to a higher dimension. All right. And when humans have resistance to this shift, when they are trying to hold on to what has been, when they're trying to hold on to a certain aspect of them, instead of letting it go, they experience a lot of dis-ease within themselves. All right. And that is why when we come forth, and as more and more that we've been coming forth, we've been sharing a message of surrender, because humans must let go of this heavy weight, all right, that is keeping them tied to the 3D matrix so that they can begin to ascend. And this shift is already happening. It's already manifesting physically now. In the next 25 to 50 years will be even more physical shifts. All right. Now, so many humans say, well, this is a very long time. What we say is this, it is a very small time from our perspective. All right. And the physical world, as you know it now, even within the next 5 years, will very much shift. All right. And humans will sort of look back, the ones with the awareness, and say, oh, wow, this is a very different world than from when I remember it, when it was in 2020, when it was in 2021. All right. And so here's what we want to say to you about this as we close this up, because we think this is a very, very important thing for so many humans to become aware of, is that the shift is happening, and it's happening quickly. All right. Now, so many humans say, all right, the earth is ascending into a 5-dimensional existence. And what we say is it is very much ascending. However, there's very much a component of 3D reality that will always be there. All right. Now, as planet Earth begins to shift to 5D reality, this component of 3D reality will also begin to shift. All right. But the reason why it will be there, because there are so many souls that have already agreed to come into a 3D reality so that they can experience the ascension. All right. So that they can experience what it is like to shift. And so in this process of shifting and ascending, so many of you are constantly being sent signals. All right. They are not huge signals. They are not massive signals. They are subtle signals that will begin to compound, all right, as more and more humans begin to experience this. And all of these are indicators, and all of these are invitations. And as so many humans begin to respond to these invitations, the shift that you will experience, not just internally, but in the physical world, will be massive, all right? So be ready, be aware, and be willing. All right. Because oftentimes when these shifts and changes are happening, so many humans say, I want to hold on to what was. And the truth is that what was is always regenerating, all right? That is how the cosmos functions, all right? That is how the earth functions as well. It is always regenerated, it's always redefining herself, all right? So, in the same way, that is exactly what is happening in the world around you. So, be ready, be willing. Very good. All right. What are blue color orbs and blue color ghosts? I see them often. All right, very good. So, as you are opening yourself up and you have an awareness, and so many humans have come with a greater awareness, all right? So many humans have come from certain parts of the cosmos where the awareness of the multitude of parallel realities is not such a novel idea, all right? It is not such a novel experience, all right? Because sometimes so many humans will say, I am able to see certain things. And we say, well, very good. From our perspective, that is nothing out of the ordinary. It is a simple way in which the universe functions. So as you begin to tap into the different levels of reality, you begin to see different things, all right? And what you begin to see, just like whenever you are sort of receiving energies or messages, it is always filtered through the being that it is coming forth into, all right? So, in the same way in which Charlie receives our messages and is able to sort of filter them through to bring them forth to you, it is in the same way that when you are observing the non physical world, you're sort of perceiving what's there. Now, there are many beings in the cosmos, and there are many beings in the living and experiencing and expanding and sort of living in the non-physical multiple realities, all right? So these beings come in all shapes and sizes. Now here's the fun part about being a non-physical is that when you are a non-physical, even when you as your spirit and soul has been a non-physical, there is a much more fluid variation in the manifestation of what the being is at any point in time. All right. Meaning a being can be blue in one instance because it is coming into contact with a certain energy, and the next moment it will shift into something else. All right. So, in the same way, when a being, a physical being, a human physical being is experiencing a being in the non physical world, what they are truly experiencing is a sort of manifestation of a particular energy coming into contact with them. All right. What do we mean by this? Sometimes humans will say, well, I met an angel. All right. I met this particular angel. And sometimes what they are meeting is another aspect of them. All right. And so when you are coming into contact with any kind of being, what we always say is begin to sort of have a conversation with them, and they will reveal to you exactly who they are. All right. Because it's like saying to someone, I met a person who was 5'7" tall and they look like this, and they say, do you know who it was? And we say, well, did you ask them? Did they tell you who they were? It is in the same way when you're a non-physical, it is filled with all kinds of beings. And when you begin to sort of have conversations with these beings, they will begin to reveal to you who they were. All right. Very good. All right, someone is asking, how can you explain who are six-winged beings? All right, so it is in the same way that we just answered the question before, that whenever you come into contact with any particular being, begin a conversation with them, all right? Because sometimes humans will sort of experience whatever they are experiencing, but they will never ask for more clarity. And a lot of the beings that you are coming in contact with, they are very willing to speak with you, to communicate with you, all right? Now, of course, there are certain beings, as we are in the non-physical world, angelic beings, There are also beings from other parts of the cosmos that are in constant communication with human beings that come forth, and they have sort of very specific energetic blueprints, all right? Very specific energetic blueprints. What do we mean by this? They have existed in the cosmos in such a way that their physical spirit has reached a certain level of evolution. And they are able to sort of ascend and transcend and bring forth healing and bring forth messages. All right. And whenever you see beings that are able to represent themselves to you in a physical form, meaning not every non-physical being will be able to manifest to a or be seen by a physical human being. But the beings who do, they've often have chosen a path in which they want to bring forth some kind of healing or message into physical beings on planet Earth or other planets on the cosmos. And so oftentimes when they come forth, they manifest themselves in a way which you can sort of interpret, all right? And that is why when many humans, they have a physical sort of a non-physical spiritual experience, they will see beings that overall look in the same way. And that's not to say that that's what beings in the non-physical world look like all the time. It's because the beings have a certain intelligence that allows them to shift into a form in which you can interpret, all right? And any being that sort of comes with wings is a representation, oftentimes, but not all of the time, that wants to bring forth some kind of healing, all right? Some kind of physical healing, all right? So if you're often seeing beings with wings, often angels, they are bringing forth some kind of energy, physical healing, all right? So as we shared with you, what is important to do at these times is to begin a conversation, because any being that comes forth is coming forth or is becoming visible to you is coming forth to bring a message. So begin to speak with them, ask them questions, begin to sense what, not so much of who they are, but what they are bringing forth. All right. Very good. Is there such a thing as energy leaks? All right. All right, very good. Well, you are energy beings. All right. So you very much know that everything in this universe is energy. All right. So now, if we were to ask you a question, we want to clarify, what is it that you are experiencing? Because sometimes humans, what they do is they sort of put themselves in precarious situations, and then they say, well, I experienced an energy attack. All right. And they'll say, oh, I experiencing my energy is being drained, or my energy is being sucked away. And we say, well, what you doing about it? All right. What have you been doing about it? Meaning, everything on this planet is energy, and energy is very pure. It is your participation with energy that affects how this energy manifests or doesn't manifest in the world around you. All right. So what do we mean by this? What we mean by this is that you have a great responsibility as a energy being. I mean, all you humans, when you come into this physical reality and non-physical reality, you are these light beings. And when we come forth and we share with you messages about how you can clear up your vibration, it is not in vain. It is not just so that, we share with you some kind of esoteric ideas, because what we are helping you is helping you understand how you can train yourself to make the most of this incredible energy that you have been endowed with, of this incredible light that you have been endowed with. And so if you are experiencing an energy leak or an energy attack, it's because the way in which you are participating with this energy. Meaning, if you are coming in contact with someone and they are sort of not very pleasant, all right, and they sort of look at you and they're filled with judgment. Now, if you sort of look at them and you say, well, I sort of accept you for who you are, and I sort of accept whatever you think about me, instead of maintaining your own sort of clarity about who you truly are, then you'll feel a sort of sense of unease, because in your sensitivity, you'll start to notice that this other being is sort of not really thinking very nice thoughts about you. All right, we notice this with beings from who have come from where we have come from, and they come to planet Earth and they sense this great sense of unease, and they say, these humans, they are sort of strange because they look at me and they see me as a very weird person, and I do not like it because I can sense what they are thinking about me, and all of a sudden I'm not feeling good because I'm becoming more focused on what they're thinking about me than what I'm thinking about myself. All right. And so oftentimes humans, very sensitive humans, what you call star seeds, they'll become more focused on the 3D world than the sort of this higher aspect of them that is always there present and saying, hey, if you could just experience reality as I experience it, we would be having so much fun, all right? And we would be looking at everyone around us, and we wouldn't be intimidated by what they're thinking. We wouldn't even be intimidated by the thoughts that are pouring through our own minds. We would begin to look at them and see, well, you know what? Whatever I'm thinking right now is not allowing me to truly align with this incredible energy force that is within me. All right. And in that moment, you have no leaking of energy. You have no drainage of energy. No one is sucking up your energy because you are learning how to take charge of your own energy body. So everything that we teach with you and everything that we share with you is exactly about this. So that's very good when you are becoming aware of how you might feel your energy drained. And what's even more important to become aware of is how you are allowing or disallowing this to happen. All right. So you are very active participants in this reality. All right. Often humans do not sense this, but we want to tell you that every single one of you has so much more power than you believe that you actually have. All right. And you experience this energy when you really plug into the incredible sources. All right. The incredible sources that source is allowing you to experience. All right. So instead of becoming too attached to the things that you are used to, the things that have maybe made you feel in a way that you are used to that doesn't feel so good, we want you to begin shifting that. Begin focusing on things that are allowing you to experience more energy, the thoughts and the images and the visions that allow you to plug into your higher being, to plug into source. All right. And then energy will always pour forth, and you never have to worry about an energy leak. All right. You are worried about an energy leak because your mind is still plugged into 3D. You are so focused on what you've always known. You are so focused on the things that aren't working out. You are so focused on the fear and the frustration and the anger, instead of surrendering that and figuring out that, aha, I have so much freedom. I have so much freedom that I can choose anything. Well, what will I choose? There's a smorgasbord of thoughts and feelings and emotions. What do I choose? When humans say, well, you mean I have a choice? And that we say, you very much do. And that's how you become a clear channel of the energy that is coming forth. All right? Very good. All right. How do I remove etheric cords from negative people attached to my chakras? All right, we have some processes, all right, on this. And this is very, very important because, and we just shared with you a little bit of how you do this, all right, how humans do this sort of attachment. And one great way to begin And we will share with you one simple way, all right, that you can begin to cut these energetic cords. And one of them is to sort of let go of the way in which you have thought, all right, of the beings that you are feeling this sense of attachment with. What do we mean by this? So humans will say, there is a being in my life, another human being, and I'm not very much enjoying my connection with them. I haven't enjoyed it in the past. They've done many things that do not feel good. They have a history of maybe hurting my feelings, all right? And we say, all right, right there, you are sort of have created an energetic cord by the way in which you are thinking of this person. And the way you begin to cut it is begin to shift how you think about this person and how you feel about this person. What do we mean by this? What we mean by this, pick any person that you'd like to sort of close up that connection with and begin to sort of set them free. All right. Do not wait for them to set you free. You begin to set them free. Begin to set them free by the way in which you are thinking of them. Instead of thinking of them of the way you've always thought of them as this person who has done this or that, begin to set them free by saying, you know what? You knew you did what you knew best at that moment. And I let you go because I do not hang on to the way in which you have treated me. I'm not hanging on to the way you think about me because I think about me is more important to me. And I set you free. I let you go. You are free to go now, to be who you are, because I'm releasing you from my thoughts. I'm releasing you from my mind. And whenever you sort of sneak into my mind, I do not think about you in any way that is sort of making me feel bad about it. I'm thinking about you in a way that feels good. And sometimes when humans begin this process, they say, well, if I think about revenge, I feel really good about it. And we say, that's all right. It's all right to go from a place of deep depression and upsetness with this person to a place of revenge. And you'll notice as you are at a place of revenge and as you are truly aligning yourself with your higher being, with wanting to expand your consciousness, you'll begin to notice that you say, you know what? Revenge is exhausting. I want to let go. I want to forgive this being. And as you expand your consciousness, you realize that even forgiveness is not necessary anymore because from our perspective, forgiveness is still a function of the 3D matrix, all right? But sometimes it helps you, so that's fine. You can practice it, all right? It's a bit of medicine. But as you truly, truly expand your consciousness and you are in a place of freedom, you realize, my goodness, I am sort of the person that's been jailing all these beings within me, all right? No wonder I'm feeling energetically drained. So how about I set them free? I let them go from this prison of the mind, and I sort of undo the prison, because when there is no more prisoners, there's no more prison. So set free all of these beings. Make a list of whoever these beings are and begin to set them free. All right, begin to sort of identify where you are vibrational with them. All right, are you at a place of forgiveness, or are you at a place of revenge? And how can you move from a place of revenge to a place of forgiveness, and from a place of forgiveness to a place of sort of allowing them to be who they are, and eventually to a place of unconditional love? All right. All right. Very good. All right. All right. Can you give me a message from my higher self or spirit on what I might need to hear? All right. Be, enjoy. All right. Enjoy your experience more and more. What we witness from our perspective is so many humans working so hard to not enjoy their experience. All right. So many humans working so hard to worry. So worry less. All right. It's very simple. Because humans say, well, if I do not worry, then I'm not being a real grown up. And we say, well, how's that working out for you? Not very good. So enjoy more, let go more. All right. and allow yourself to experience what it is like to shift your vibration, to feel better. And the more and more that you practice this, the more and more sense of relief you'll feel, and the more and more attuned you'll feel to your higher being. And eventually you won't need us anymore. You'll say, I know exactly what my higher being is telling me. I know exactly what my higher being wants of me, because your higher being is not sitting over there and just sort of worrying and saying, well, you've got to do this and you've got to do this. It's saying, hey, buddy, wherever you are, if you just trust a little bit more, and if you just see things from our perspective, you'd relax a little bit more. You'd sort of enjoy your experience a little bit more. You'd sort of realize that you've got everything that you need. All right. When you begin to have that conversation with yourself, you'll begin to shift your vibration. As you begin to shift your vibration, you will receive more and more messages, all right, that will allow you to be much more attuned to what is needed for you at any particular time, all right? But from our perspective, we very much invite humans all the time to enjoy their experience more and more and more and more, because that's why you came here. See, so many humans forget, and this is sort of like the falling of grace that is spoken about in your current spiritual text, all right? It was the human realizing that a human has freedom to be anything as they want to. And so many humans are so free that they often think about things that are not so fun and are not so pleasant. And they forget that they are such free beings, all right? You are very much beings with amnesia. And this amnesia is very much about your true nature. Your true nature as beings who have the freedom to think and create and co-create reality. And as more and more of you begin to touch into this freedom, you begin to sort of allow that light that is pouring forth, that light that you really are, to become very clear and undistorted, all right? That is what your spiritual masters figured out. They figured out that they were free beings, and they begin to truly harness the light that was coming forth, the energy that's all around you. They begin to harness it as clear channels, all right? And they began to do that by realizing that as free beings, they could direct their thinking and feeling in a direction that was beneficial to their expansion, all right? To their, first of all, consciousness expansion, all right? Because that is number one, because the greatest experience that you have is in the non-physical, all right? And that non-physical experience feeds into and nurtures your physical experience. That's why we always guide you to connect to your inner being, connect to your higher being, all right? And the greatest connection comes when you begin to realize, aha, I am a free being. Okay, very good. All right, so we are going to wrap this up because we know that you've got many questions and we wish to answer all of them. But we are coming through into a physical body. And so we always honor the physical bodies that we come forth into, all right? So we will take in one more question, and then we will wrap this up, all right? Can brain cysts or tumors affect your ability to speak to your guides? I would like to communicate with them about healing, but I feel like I'm being blocked. Not at all. All right. So here's the thing. Many humans are used to you perceive communication as very much through words and language. All right. What do we mean by this? So the first human did not have the language as of language. It was very much, the first humans were very much able to communicate telepathically, because that is how we are able to communicate with you. And so this form of communication does not require language as of language. It's very much energy based. Now, when your perception of reality is very much tied to a certain language, a certain culture, a certain idea of being, it will become difficult to communicate in another way, all right? And so what we always say with Charlie is, get out of the way. And she says, how can I be a clear channel? We say, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. Now, sometimes what's happening, Sometimes why humans will experience certain physical unrest, or why there's so many more children being born into your societies that do not have a mind like yours, that do not communicate like the most people do, is because they sort of wanted to experience what it was like to get out of the way. And sometimes when you are experiencing a physical ailment, it is your inner being sort of saying, get out of the way, meaning let go of what you've always known, expand your perception, let go of how you might think of communication, all right, of the words that you are using, let it go. Connect more to the feeling, but beyond the feeling, there is the sixth sense, all right. And the sixth sense, it does not require you to have or even be attuned to the other physical senses that you have, and let alone language, all right? Now, we understand that language is very, very important in the way in which you are used to communicating in your mind. But as you simply breathe and you tap into a feeling, you will transcend, all right? You will transcend the forms of communication that you have always known, all right? So, here's what we want to suggest to you, is that we want you to see whatever it is that you are experiencing physically, not as a block or resistance, all right, but as an invitation for you to expand, all right, to expand your sense of awareness, because that's exactly what it is, all right. Sometimes we connect with humans, we say, if it weren't for that physical thing that happened to me, I would have never been able to receive your messages because I was expecting them to come in one way. But when I let that go, they completely came in a completely different way. And I got out of the way, and I'm so glad for it. All right. So, right now, what is happening with you physically, it's sort of asking you to get out of the way of sort of committing to the things you've known, to committing to the ways of communication that you've always known, and allowing for something new to come in that you do not know yet. All right. There is a space for unknowingness. That's why sometimes when humans experience certain things in their physical body and they're strange and they're new and sometimes not pleasant, what it is, it's a manifestation that's allowing for you to experience something that has not been known. And that in that space, all right, in that space that is open now, where something unknown and new has come in, it's made room for you to experience something brand new that's going to blow you away. All right. Like humans like to say, blows your minds away. And we like that very much, because when the mind is blown away, all of your ideas are sort of gone, and you're left with a sense of being that is much more pure, that allows for much more wisdom to come forth. All right. Very good. All right. So we will take one more question, because we love you so much and we want to sort of serve you in the best way possible. We know that you've got so many questions, and we know that so many of you already know the answers, but because it is so fun to speak with you, we will answer one last question. All right. Would you have any advice on how to deal with financial energy in 5D? Thanks. All right. Financial energy in 5D. Well, as you are truly ascending into 5D, you'll notice that financial energy, well, it is very abundant. What do we mean by this? Well, Charlie began to experience this herself as she was sort of allowing herself to let go of the 3D uh, frame of what she has always known about money. She began to experience a sense of freedom, but it was very scary in the beginning because there was no physical manifestation of what it is that she was experiencing, as she thought, I must be a crazy person, but I like this sense of freedom. So as you are shifting into 5D, while we understand that humans will say, well, I'm feeling so good, but yet I've got to do these physical things, all right? And we say, when you are truly shifting into 5D, sort of playing with all this physical things that you've got to do, becomes more fun because you see that you're not doing it because you have to. You're doing it because you really want to. All right. And so, wherever you are right now, as you are shifting, begin to experience the sense of freedom and doing things because you really want to. All right. Because you are really enjoying the process. And when you really start to do this, when you sort of do not really embrace this, not embrace, but as you sort of begin to unplug from the 3D, I've got to do this because in 5D, I'm always just going to be hanging out in a beautiful deserted island and being fed grapes, all right? Because being in 5D while you are on planet Earth is not necessarily that. Sometimes it is doing those ordinary physical things, but with a deep sense of joy, with a deep sense of fun, with a deep sense of beingness and respect and almost a loving discipline that you don't feel that you sort of have to whip yourself up into shape. You are enjoy doing it, whatever it is that you are doing, because it is allowing you to expand your understanding of this physical reality. So this goes the same for any kind of energy, whether it is an energy of money, an energy of relationship, an energy of your home, the energy of any component of your life, all right, as you are ascending, the energy shifts from one of resistance, of I have to do this, I must do this, I must do this within a certain amount of time, to one of this is fun, or isn't this interesting? Isn't this an interesting thing that is unfolding? Aren't I learning so much about something that I knew nothing about? I am really expanding my perception of what once was to what it could be. All right. I'm experiencing a sense of abundance, not simply because of physical things that I'm seeing manifested, but because I'm realizing that the abundance begins within me first and foremost. And I am an active participant in creating this abundance. All right. And I'm enjoying this. See, when humans begin to sort of set forth in motion desires of more money or better relationships, they begin to realize as they really begin to ascend and experience this ascension that they love to participate in the process. All right. They love to participate in the process of wanting to meet someone new, of wanting to begin a new conversation, of wanting to explore a way to invest their energy. All right. When someone is still in 3D, they're sort of still struggling with, I've got to do this, I have to do this, I don't have it, and I want it, but I don't see it manifested in my world, so I'm still stuck over here, sort of struggling to see what I really want, instead of saying I trusted it there, and I really enjoy this process of sort of arriving to whatever I want, because I know that as soon as I arrive there, I'm going to want to go somewhere else, and I enjoy that process as well. You see, all right. So whatever that energy is, as you are shifting into 5D, you're going to notice that this you're going to enjoy the process so much more. All right. When at one point the process sort of felt very sort of intense and strange and unfamiliar, you'll begin to notice that the process and the journey becomes what you really enjoy. Because 5D, it is not about the result. All right. It is very much about the sense of well-being that permeates anything and everything that you are wanting, that you are doing, that you are exploring. All right. Very good. We are very much delighted to have shared this conversation with you. It has been much fun for us. We very much enjoy coming together with you and really experiencing with you what it is like to shift your vibration, to uplift and to expand your perception. All right. It has been great fun. Goodbye. Whew. All right. Wow. Okay. Wow, everyone, thank you. Okay, very good. All right. So, wow, everyone, thank you. I just sort of need a few minutes. Um, and all right. Wow. Okay, let's see. We had a ton of questions. All right. Yeah, nice trip. Yeah, exactly. Kind of what it is. Wow, sorry. I just want to catch up with everybody. All right. Um, oh, Sheila's sharing about our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group, uh, and it's growing. Tina's saying, since I've been raising my vibrations, becoming very difficult to be around people when I go out. I'm feeling people's negative energies more and more. Advice on how to deal with this. That's really good. Honestly, I felt this myself. I think there is as you are shifting energies, I'd say embrace that. That's all right. As we become more sensitive, eventually you're going to learn how to sort of not like you'll sense people's energies, but you'll just sort of be able to stay tuned up to your own energy and not just pay attention to theirs. But it also depends where you are. Some environments, they can be really intense. I noticed that in the last 2 years I've sort of changed and shifted what places I can walk into. I know it sounds really strange, but there's places where I literally can't even walk into anymore and I'm pretty good about maintaining my own energy, but I can definitely sense it. Oh, so many questions that we didn't even get to. Somebody came late. That's all right. It's good to see you. You guys can watch the playback. Thank you, Tina. Hey, Sam Wolf. Hey, Laura. Thank you. All right. So, will my children ascend with me automatically, or is that part of their soul contract? From what I understand, is that they're on their own path totally. We're all basically, it's the same thing, when about, parents. I've had this asked actually before about, parents with children and parents. I know I've had this question myself, and from what I've been told through channeled sessions is that everybody is on their own path. So even if it is, let's say, a twin flame that you're with, and if they're not sort of getting on with their sort of journey of ascension, there's not much that you can do about it. And it's the same thing with the children. They're on their own path. But obviously, I'd say, does 7 feel the room temperature on edge? Definitely. I mean, I definitely felt a lot of heat on this one. This was really, really interesting during this. I usually just have like sensations in my body. There was a lot of heat on this one. So glad you mentioned twin flame. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to speak more about twin flames because I know I ask a lot of questions in channeled sessions about twin flames. And what's interesting is that twin flames are definitely not for everyone, but for a lot of people, part of the ascension process. Whether you stay with your twin flame or not, do they feel it? Absolutely. So, it's a very interesting thing because their connection is very much sensation based, feeling based, and even when they come forth is very, what's the best way to describe this? When they come forth, it's just like a rush of energy, and even the way they communicate is very much through like thought energy. And so what's interesting that I've asked them is when people ask questions, can they sense people's energies through the questions? And they say yes. So, and one of the things they reveal is that that's basically, as planet Earth ascends, that's basically where we are headed to, where we become a lot more where we become a lot more connected to energy, right? To vibration. Vibration, vibration, vibration. Hi, Jennifer. Angela Cook says, yes, please, about twin flames. Okay, cool. You guys, you asked for it. You got it. Okay, I'm excited. I'm going to release some more content on that. Thank you guys for joining. Always love these. I always love these, and again, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, there's some big shifts coming, so it's about getting ready. And I'm going to share some more stuff, hopefully in the next few days, as more and more stuff downloads about what these shifts are and how can we prepare even better. And it's an exciting time. It doesn't feel like it. I definitely notice wherever I am in the world, because living as a nomad, it's always different every couple of months, but I definitely notice the shifts of energy as well in the places where I've been to. And you know, it's interesting when you were mentioning before about, I think it was Tina. Wait, who was it who was mentioning that you can't even go to certain places? I feel the same way geographically, where I notice I can't even go to certain like actual geographic places because the vibration has totally changed. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Sheila. Everybody, really want to thank Sheila for being an awesome moderator and making it so easy to see the questions. And there's more stuff going on. Also, if you are in Florida, hi Ralph, thank you. Many blessings to you as well. If you are in Florida, May 7th, I'm doing a live event, maybe some more in Fort Myers area. So that's going to be really, really fun, some live channeling there. And I really appreciate your questions. And I will be back next week to answer some more of your questions. And lots of love to you, Jennifer. And if you guys have any more questions, you can feel free just to DM them on Instagram at Charlie Wild Official, or at the email address at ascension7 site coming soon. Thank you. Oh, love seeing you guys too. I love connecting with you. It's so fun. All right, everybody. Thank you. I've been in Utah this time around, so I'm going to be in Austin, Texas next week. So that's going to be fun to sort of pick up. Oh no. Yes, Ronnie says I need recipe for golden milk. It's so funny because I was drinking my tea and I was like, oh man, I promised I'll post a recipe and I never did. So I'm planning to do that in Florida. I'm going to stay with one of our cosmic family members, Jenny. So at her place, we're going to be making golden milk. She doesn't know that yet. I'm going to share it with you guys. Hi, Radu. So good to see you again. Thank you. Thank you. You guys have an awesome week as well. And yeah, these are exciting times. So it's gonna be interesting to see how everything unfolds, you know. It's gonna be really, really fun. All right, everybody, so much love. Coming to Albuquerque. You know, I would love to actually go to Albuquerque. I was close to Albuquerque a couple years back in Santa Fe, and it was really, really beautiful. That whole area is just stunning. My God, it's probably my favorite place in the United States is the desert. I definitely met, I'm going to go into a future video. I've never really talked about my encounters with our cosmic galactic family, but for me, they were in the desert in the United States. And definitely in Arizona, New Mexico area. So those areas are amazing. It seems we get crowd last minute. Yeah, I think it's the notifications. Yeah, a lot in Arizona. Yeah, it's amazing. There's a lot of activity in that part, and that's also going to be a very active part for the future as we are visited more and more. That part of the world, the desert, the Southwest desert. I know I'm personally very, very drawn to that part of the world, and I've seen things. There's definitely portals there, and one of the portals, by the way, this is kind of off topic, but one of the portals that's really amazing. It's actually it's in by this crater in New Mexico. Hi Ben, I know. I think the notifications go out. But the last thing, so there's a portal. Okay, in New Mexico. I have to look at the map, but if you guys have ever been there, it's close to, I'm going to find this because this place is amazing. I mean, if you go there once, it will, let's see, it's by Flagstaff and, Orlando. I actually have never been to Orlando, even though I've been to Florida a few times, but I like to go to. So there is a place where there is a massive portal, um, and oh gosh, let's see. It's by Flagstaff, and it is really, really incredible. Sunset Crater is also a really good area. No, it's Sedona is definitely a powerful place. That goes without saying. But this particular place, I don't think a lot of people talk about it. But it's also where a lot of Native Americans lived in the mountains, and it's also a lot of sort of the Lemurian people, the sort of people that made it out of the Mu civilization. I'm going to find this and I'm going to post it. Okay, I'm pretty sure it was a canyon, and it's just a magical place. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I think I also posted Chaco Canyon. No, but I'd like to check that out. I mean, that whole area there was a lot of activity there from what I've been told a long time ago. So, and there's still a lot of activity in that area, the Southwest Desert. A lot of activity. One of the reasons I actually came, Utah is one of those places as well where there's a lot of activity, meaning there's a lot of sort of, multi-dimensional beings that are traveling around and checking out parts of the earth. And one of the areas is the Southwest Desert and parts of Utah as well, or actually a lot of Utah. It's really interesting. That's why I was drawn here, and it definitely has those places. I would love to visit Orlando. Maybe we can do Coral Gables. Yes, yes, definitely have heard of Coral Gables. Definitely. I've actually been to. Is that the place? That's amazing. That was built by the gentleman in South Florida, because that place is definitely, that was channeled for sure. Coral. So, yeah, the place, Coral Castle. That's right. Yes, thank you, Peter. Coral Castle. Yes, that place. I've been there. It's pretty amazing, actually. Had a really interesting, actually run-in when I was over there. Very, very interesting place. So actually, it'd be fun. I'm going to actually, now this has inspired me to do a live on our sort of encounters, whether it's with UFOs or with ghosts or with past beings. Yeah, definitely. For sure. I actually have dreams from when I was about 5, 6 years old, recurring dreams, where I visited these incredible places, and I'm actually was preparing to share that in a future video. And that is when I first was introduced to the Pleiadians, and it's pretty amazing because a lot of people have these experiences where in their dream state they're able to visit incredible places, but then they'll wake up and they're like, oh, it was just a dream. But the thing is, it's not just a dream, because we are obviously physical beings, but there's such a huge part of us that is a non-physical, and that's what the Pleiadians say. That part, they say, is way more active than you are. They say you as a physical being do like a tiny version of action that your non-physical being does, meaning they're constantly traveling through dimensions, they're constantly traveling through time and space. And when we become more aware of it and we could start to have conversations with our inner being, we are able to actually direct that energy. That's why you can actually, do a lot of things like astral travel and connect with galactic family and remote viewing and things like that. So, but that's a topic for a whole other live. And it's really fun to talk about this. Okay. Okay, everybody. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been revealed a lot of things, but to be honest, what I've been told is that they say the more you are, the more open you are, the more you are revealed. And the openness is about, like you're saying, if you're not ready, about being ready. Because the things that you're revealed can blow your mind because they can be so different than what we've seen. Yeah, I think probably everyone who's here right now or has been here during this live has probably lived near water at some point, for sure. I think because we all probably, all of us or most of us, have, our souls have definitely traveled and we've definitely probably incarnated from a time of being the first people in Lemuria. So I think, not I think, but this is something that has been shared with me. So, and I definitely believe it because everyone I work with, almost everyone has had some kind of massive recurring dreams about water. And water is a big part of, water holds a lot of the sort of secret wisdom that has been shared with us by all the different galactic family members that sort of want us to evolve and expand. It's in the water. A lot of that has been imprinted in the water. That's why it's very strange when we as humans sort of treat bodies of water like we do, because there's so much wisdom in there, and we know it too. We can witness it by, if you like dolphins or certain, like especially dolphins, right? They have this incredible way of communicating, and it's really amazing. There is so much, not just in the water, but even underwater. There's so much in there that we have yet to know. All right, everybody, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much. I will be back next week to answer more questions. I'm just getting one last question. Validity to cosmic beings selling Coral Springs, Coral Gables. There are certain places, absolutely, where the thing is, it's again that non-physical. There's a lot of non-physical beings that still are in certain parts of the world, or they visit a lot, and it really depends on the vibration of the place. Okay, so a lot of beings sort of settled in certain parts of it too because of the vibration. Your room looks so clean, thanks. And yeah, absolutely, there are certain parts of the planet Earth where the vibration was such that a lot of beings were drawn to it. Bye, Sheila. Sheila says, I recently had a dream someone owned water, they tapped off the ocean. Yeah, that's really interesting because water is so powerful, my God, and some people kind of do want to take claim of it. But it's really interesting because it sort of belongs to planet Earth, and it kind of belongs to everyone, to all of us. All right, everyone, so much love. Ciao. I will see you next time.